The studio door opens. Inside stands 50-year-old producer Sam Phillips. Across from him stands shy, 19-year-old Elvis Presley. "I make music," Elvis says, his voice barely above a whisper. Sam looks at him and starts laughing. You're a truck driver, ain't you, boy?" 4 hours later, Sam Phillips is frantically hunched over the recording equipment like a man possessed, because he has just witnessed the moment music history changed forever. But let's rewind to the beginning. Memphis, Tennessee, 706 Union Avenue, Sun Records, July 5, 1954. Monday afternoon, 2 p.m. The summer heat is brutal. Elvis Aaron Presley parks his borrowed car outside the studio. The Presleys are poor, the kind of poor where you count every penny twice. Elvis works for Crown Electric Company, driving a truck for $35 a week. He's wearing his best clothes today. Dark pants, white shirt, his hair slicked back until it shines. He's nervous about Sun Records. This is Sam Phillips's place, the man who discovered Howlin' Wolf and Junior Parker. Today he has $4 in his pocket and a promise to his mother Gladys, who told him, "Elvis, honey, you got something special." The studio door opens. Inside stands 50-year-old producer Sam Phillips, weathered hands resting on his hips. Across from him stands shy, 19-year-old Elvis Presley, trembling hands holding his hat. "I make music," Elvis says, his voice barely above a whisper, thick Memphis accent coating every syllable. Sam looks at him and starts laughing, not a polite chuckle, but a full-throated laugh that echoes off the cramped studio walls. You're a truck driver, ain't you, boy?" 4 hours later, Sam Phillips is frantically hunched over the recording equipment like a man possessed, because he has just witnessed the moment music history changed forever. But let's rewind to the beginning. Memphis, Tennessee, 706 Union Avenue, Sun Records, July 5, 1954. Monday afternoon, 2 p.m. The summer heat is brutal, the kind that makes asphalt soft and turns cars into ovens. The air conditioning in the small recording studio barely works, one window unit fighting a losing battle against Tennessee humidity. Elvis Aaron Presley parks his borrowed 1942 Lincoln Zephyr outside the studio. The car belongs to his neighbor, Mrs. Chapman, because his family doesn't own a vehicle, never has. The Presleys are poor, the kind of poor where you count every penny twice and pray the electricity doesn't get shut off again. Elvis works for Crown Electric Company, driving a truck for $35 a week, decent money for a kid with barely a high school education, but not enough to change anything. Not enough to lift his family out of the 2-bedroom public housing unit in Lauderdale Courts where they've lived since he was 13. He's wearing his best clothes today. Dark pants, white shirt, his hair slicked back with Royal Crown pomade until it shines like black glass. He's nervous, has been nervous for weeks since he first heard about Sun Records. This is Sam Phillips' place, the man who discovered Howlin' Wolf, Junior Parker, Rufus Thomas, the man who records race records, rhythm and blues, the music Elvis listens to late at night on his radio when his parents think he's asleep. The building is narrow, cramped, wedged between a beauty parlor and a restaurant. A simple sign reads, "Sun Records, Wedge Record, anything, anywhere, anytime." Elvis has walked past this building a dozen times in the last month, always finding an excuse not to go inside. Today is different. Today he has $4 in his pocket and a promise to himself. A promise he made to his mother Gladys, who told him just yesterday, "Elvis, honey, you got something special. Don't let nobody tell you different." He pushes open the glass door. A small bell chimes. The reception area is tiny, just enough room for a desk, 2 chairs, and Marion Kiesker, Sam's assistant, a teenage girl with blonde hair teased high as a beehive. "Can I help you?" Marion asks, looking up from her paperwork. She's seen hundreds of hopefuls walk through this door. Most are delusional, but something about this kid catches her attention. Maybe it's the way he's dressed, like he's going to church. Maybe it's the way his hands shake slightly as he removes his hat. "Yes, ma'am," Elvis says, his voice soft, polite, the way his mother taught him to speak to ladies. "I'd like to make a recording. For my mother. It's her birthday." This is a lie. Gladys's birthday was 4 months ago, but it's easier than explaining the real reason. Easier than saying he wants to know if he has what it takes. Marion studies him. "What kind of songs?" "Ballads, I guess. Maybe My Happiness and That's When Your Heartaches Begin." These are safe choices. Popular songs. The kind that won't offend anybody. $4, Marion says. Cash in advance. Elvis reaches into his pocket, pulls out crumpled bills. 1, 2, 3, 4. His lunch money for the rest of the week. His movie money. His everything money. He counts it twice, then slides it across the desk. Marion takes the money, makes a note in her book. Studio 2 is open. Mr. Phillips is in there setting up for another session. He might listen in. Elvis's stomach tightens. Sam Phillips. The legendary Sam Phillips is going to hear him sing. This is what he wanted. But now that it's happening, he's terrified. He walks down a narrow hallway towards Studio 2. The walls are covered with photographs of musicians he's heard on the radio. Black musicians mostly. Rhythm and blues artists. The people who make the music that speaks to his soul. He stops at the studio door, takes a deep breath, knocks. "Come in," a voice calls from inside. Elvis opens the door and steps into a room that will change his life forever. Studio 2 is small, maybe 15 by 20 feet, with acoustic tiles on the walls and a concrete floor. One microphone stands in the center, connected to recording equipment that looks more complicated than anything he's ever seen. Behind a glass partition sits Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips, 31 years old, already a legend in Memphis music circles, born in Alabama, raised on a cotton farm, educated until he ran out of money. He came to Memphis in 1945, with a dream of capturing the music of the South, the real music, not the sanitized versions that major record labels were pushing. He started Sun Records in 1952, with $150 and a belief that the future of American music lay in the fusion of black and white musical traditions. Sam looks up from his recording console. He sees a teenage kid in clothes too nice for a Monday afternoon, hair too perfect. Another rich kid playing at being a musician. He thinks, "You here for the session?" Sam asks, not looking up from his equipment. "No, sir," Elvis says. "I'm here to make a recording, for my mother." Sam stops what he's doing, looks at the kid more carefully. The clothes aren't expensive. He realizes they're just well maintained. The shirt is pressed but frayed at the collar. This isn't a rich kid, this is a poor kid wearing his Sunday best on a Monday. "You sing?" Sam asks. "Yes, sir." "Some. What kind of music?" "I sing all kinds. All kinds." Sam repeats the words like they taste bad. That usually means you don't sing any kind particularly well. Elvis doesn't respond, doesn't argue, just stands there waiting. Sam studies him. There's something about this kid, something he can't put his finger on. A stillness, a patience. Most kids who come in here are desperate to impress. This one is different. This one is just waiting. "All right," Sam says. "Let's hear what you got." Elvis approaches the microphone. His hands are trembling now, visibly shaking. He's never sung into a professional microphone before. Never been in a real recording studio. The closest he's come to performing is singing in church and occasionally at family gatherings. This is different. This matters. He starts with My Happiness, a popular song from a few years back. Safe, conventional. His voice is nervous at first, uncertain, but as he gets into the song, something changes. The nervousness doesn't disappear. It transforms, becomes vulnerability, becomes emotion. His voice cracks slightly on the high notes, but instead of sounding amateur, it sounds honest. Sam Phillips stops pretending to work on his equipment. He's listening now, really listening. This kid's voice is unusual. Not trained, not polished, but there's something there, Something raw, unformed, but potentially powerful. Elvis finishes the first song, looks through the glass at Sam. How was that? Fine, Sam says, non-committally. What else you got? That's when your heartaches begin. Let's hear it. This second song is different. Elvis relaxes into it, finds his rhythm. His voice is still nervous, still uncertain. But now there's something else. A natural vibrato. A way of bending notes that sounds unlike anything Sam has heard before. Not black, not white, but something new, something in between. When Elvis finishes, the studio is quiet for a long moment. Sam is processing what he just heard. It's not great. The kid needs training, needs experience, needs confidence, but there's potential. Raw, unpolished, but undeniable potential. You sing like this all the time? Sam asks. Sing like what, sir? Like Sam struggles to find the words. Like you're not sure if you're supposed to be singing. Elvis doesn't know how to respond to that. He's not sure if it's a compliment or criticism. Marion Kasker has been listening from the reception area. She walks into the studio, notepad in hand. This is unusual. Marion rarely involves herself in recording sessions, but she's heard something that Sam might be missing. What's your name, son? She asks. Elvis. Elvis Presley. Where are you from? Here. Memphis. Well, Tupelo originally, but we moved here a few years back. Marion makes a note. She writes Elvis Presley, good ballad singer, hold for future reference. Sam sees her writing, reads over her shoulder. Good ballad singer? He's not convinced. The kid has potential, but good? That's generous. He's got something, Marion says quietly. Something different. Sam looks at Elvis, who's standing awkwardly by the microphone, not sure if the session is over or if he's supposed to keep singing. You ever listen to rhythm and blues? Sam asks suddenly. Elvis hesitates. This is dangerous territory. In 1954, Memphis white kids aren't supposed to listen to black music, at least not openly. But Elvis has been listening to Beale Street radio stations since he was old enough to turn a dial. Arthur Crudup, Big Mama Thornton, Muddy Waters, this is the music that moves him. Some, Elvis says carefully. Some. Sam smiles now for the first time since Elvis walked in. You remind me of someone, kid. Can't put my finger on who, but someone. What Sam doesn't say is that he's been looking for someone exactly like Elvis for 2 years. Someone who could bridge the gap between black and white music. Someone who could bring rhythm and blues to white audiences without them realizing what they were listening to. Sam has a vision that the future of American music lies in this fusion, but he needs the right artist, the right voice, the right look. Tell you what, Sam says. You leave your number with Marion. I might have some work for you in the future. Elvis's heart jumps. Work? Real work? Musical work? What kind of work, sir? Don't know yet. But I got a feeling about you. Can't explain it, but I got a feeling. Elvis gives his phone number to Marion, though he's embarrassed to admit his family doesn't have a phone. He gives them Mrs. Chapman's number next door. He leaves the studio walking on air. $4 well spent. Better than well spent. Sam Phillips, the Sam Phillips, has a feeling about him. This could be it. This could be the beginning of everything he's dreamed about. But Elvis doesn't know that Sam Phillips is about to forget all about him. The next few weeks pass normally. Elvis goes back to driving trucks, comes home tired and covered in dust, eats dinner with his parents in their small apartment. He mentions the recording session once to his mother. Gladys smiles and says she's proud of him. No matter what happens, July turns into a heat wave. Memphis swelters. Elvis drives his truck through streets that shimmer with heat mirages, delivers supplies to construction sites where men work shirtless and still can't stay cool. At Sun Records, Sam Phillips is busy with other projects. A new Junior Parker session. Some studio work with Howlin' Wolf. The business side of running a record label. Elvis Presley becomes a name in a filing cabinet. A note on Marion's desk that gets buried under more pressing concerns. But Marion doesn't forget. Something about that kid stays with her. The way he sang like he was afraid of his own voice, like he had something inside him that he didn't know how to express. She finds herself thinking about him at odd moments. On July 18th, Marion makes a decision that will change history. She calls the number Elvis left. Mrs. Chapman answers, goes next door to get Elvis. Elvis? This is Marion Kiesker, from Sun Records. Mr. Phillips wants to know if you'd like to come in and do some experimenting. Maybe record with some musicians. Elvis's heart stops, then starts beating so fast he can barely speak. Yes, ma'am. When? This afternoon if you can make it, 2 o'clock. Elvis's heart stops, then starts beating so fast he can barely speak. Yes, ma'am. When? This afternoon if you can make it, 2 o'clock. Elvis doesn't tell Marion that he's supposed to be working, that leaving his truck route early could get him fired. He doesn't tell her that he's terrified of singing with real musicians, that he's never performed with anyone else before. He just says yes and starts planning the lie he'll tell his supervisor. At 2 p.m. on July 18th, Elvis walks back into Sun Records. This time he's not alone in the studio. Sitting with guitars are 2 local musicians, Scotty Moore, 22 years old, a clean-cut country guitarist, and Bill Black, 28, an upright bass player. Sam Phillips has called this session on a whim. He's been thinking about that kid with the unusual voice. The plan is simple. Put Elvis with some musicians, see what happens. Scotty Moore looks at Elvis and sees a nervous kid. Bill Black sees someone who probably can't keep time. Neither musician expects much. They start with country songs, Hank Williams, Ernest Tubb. Elvis sings competently but unremarkably. Nothing special happens. After an hour, Sam is ready to call it quits. This isn't working. The kid seems nervous playing with professionals. Let's take a break, Sam says. During the break, Elvis picks up his guitar and starts fooling around with That's All Right. But he doesn't play it like Arthur Crudup played it. He plays it faster, looser, with a rhythm that's part country, part blues, part something new. Bill Black picks up his bass, starts slapping it rhythmically. Scotty joins in with his guitar. In the control room, Sam Phillips stops writing and listens. This is it. This is what he's been looking for. A sound that's black and white and neither in both. Sam rushes into the studio. Do that again. They record That's All Right 3 times, then Blue Moon of Kentucky. When the session ends, Sam has 2 songs that don't fit any existing category. Elvis leaves the studio in a daze. He knows something important happened, but he's not sure what. He drives Mrs. Chapman's car home slowly, trying to process what he just experienced. For the first time in his life, he felt completely natural singing, not trying to sound like someone else, not trying to fit into a category, just expressing whatever was inside him. At home, Gladys is cooking dinner when Elvis walks in. She takes one look at his face and knows something has changed. How did it go, honey? I think it went good, Mama. Real good. Meanwhile, back at Sun Records, Sam Phillips is listening to the recordings over and over, trying to understand what he's captured. He knows it's commercially risky. Radio stations won't know how to categorize it. Record stores won't know where to put it. But he also knows it's something special. He calls Dewey Phillips, no relation, the most popular DJ in Memphis, who has a radio show on WHBQ that reaches both black and white audiences. Dewey, I got something I want you to hear. Can you come by the studio tonight? Dewey Phillips arrives at 9 p.m., listens to That's All Right twice. Who is this? Dewey asks. Kid named Elvis Presley, truck driver. He's white? Yeah. Singing like this? Yeah. Dewey is silent for a long moment. Then I'm playing this on my show tomorrow night. You sure about that? Sam, this is going to cause a riot. And it does. On July 19th, 1954, Dewey Phillips plays That's All Right on his radio show, Red, Hot, and Blue. The phone lines at the radio station immediately light up. People calling to ask who is this singer, where can they buy the record, when will he be performing live. By the end of the week, Sam Phillips has orders for 20,000 copies. By the end of the month, Elvis is performing at the Grand Ole Opry. By the end of the year, he's a regional sensation. But none of this was inevitable. When Elvis first walked into Sun Records with $4 in his pocket and a dream in his heart, Sam Phillips looked at the nervous truck driver and laughed. "You're just a truck driver, ain't you, boy?" 4 hours later, Sam was frantically hunched over recording equipment, having witnessed the moment music history changed forever. The answer lies in those 4 hours on July 18, 1954. Sometimes the most important moments happen when nobody's paying attention. Sometimes genius emerges from the willingness to be vulnerable, to risk failure, to let something authentic escape. Elvis Presley walked into Sun Records as a truck driver with a dream. He walked out as the future king of rock and roll, and the world was never the same.